lost your Wi-Fi?
Yeah, I'm at Pro Remote here.
Oh, yeah, what else is new? Okay.
It just happened a minute ago.
Of course. While I'm getting this set up, I think, do you want that on the stand, or where do you want it?
Doesn't matter, I can do it here.
Okay,
I'm good here.
let's stick this one out of the way then.
Okay. It was good while it lasted. Okay, I can start without the
Yeah,
pictures.
yeah, you can start.
Okay.
And I'll get this one going.
I was gonna wear my kitenge, and the fellow who made it for me said he would make it a little loose because I asked him to make it a little loose. I figured I'm a little older, I don't need skin tight clothes. Well, I tried it on, and Blake had to pull it down so it would fit around me. And we never did zip it up, so I'm not wearing it. No, you don't need that much information. Okay, 2 years ago, when we went to Kenya, I said I would not go back because I felt that my time was wasted and the expense of going was not warranted. I seemed to serve little purpose of being there. Somehow, over the last 2 years, I've discovered a reason for my being part of the team that goes to Kenya. I still had my fears. I don't like new situations. I like little twists on old situations. And Kenya is a major situation. So I start with thanks to you for your prayers, because I was not afraid when I was ministering, even when I was left behind by Blake and Lorna and Jimmy. There were lots of our team still there, and it was a good feel knowing well that there was a lot of people praying for me specifically. Some of you added actions to your prayers, and the schools benefited from more than 500 ready-made sanitary pads. The teachers were excited with the opportunity to learn another way to help their students, as well as being able to use these towels themselves. Several of you added cash to our prayers, to your prayers, so we could buy sewing machines and other sewing supplies, and I thank you all, prayers, sewers, and those who contributed cash are agents of change in the Kenyan landscape. Thank you. My purpose in going to Kenya, besides supporting my family and the team in Kenya, was to teach how to make reusable, safe, sanitary towels, as they're called in Kenya. Somehow or other, the grandmothers and great-grandmothers did not pass that knowledge on how to deal with their monthly cycles onto their daughters and granddaughters. So many girls miss out on a quarter of their school time. Their marks are lower, and they lose interest in getting an education. My hope was that they would take the knowledge I had given them and take their education one step further. The other thought I had was that I could give the girls another tool to earn a better living for themselves and their families. So this is the place where we bought all our sewing machines.
Next one, Ann.
Yes, please. So the first day we got the machines, for the first machine, we set it all up, and okay, we're just going to do it. Okay, so this is where we got our first sewing machines. And you'll see that there are 5 of us around the sewing machine. And the object of the exercise was to thread the needle. Okay, look around. There's suitcases, there's shoes, there are backpacks, and sewing machines. So we're just learning to thread the machines there. The machines are treadle machines, and I don't have the coordination to treadle a machine. So there's a picture of the machine there, the first one that we bought. The cabinets were really nice, and the sewing machines had a good weight to them. So I was very pleased with the ones that we bought. So the two ladies came over, Sally and Sarah, and Sally figured it out. There we are threading the machine. Sally is the one in the plaid, and Sarah is the one in the sweater. We cut out several towels, and we stitched them. The ladies were thrilled and proudly took their new sanitary pads home. The first school we went to was Golden Tots School, and it was run by Dr. Bromwell and his wife, and we'd been there before. Lorna and Jimmy, do you want to? There we go. This is how we're greeted every time.
School presents visitors. Yes, visitors. By Angela M. Angela. Aha! It's better to light a candle than to cast the darkness.
True.
Visitors, our lovely visitors. How sweet your name sounds, visitors. Your presence is the best dose for us. The capsules in your words will make our immune systems more healthier. Antagonist? No, you aren't. On behalf of the continent, under the planet Earth, in Kenya, deep inside Kakamega County, in Fafaro village. Supernatural, warm, welcoming voices, whispering, soothing voices, feel at home.
Thank you.
Welcome to the land of Fafaro, full of maize plantations. Make sure you taste one.
Thank you.
With a golden opportunity to host you in our school. Are we not lucky? If there was just one wish we could be granted here today, is to have you stay with us forever. Leisure.
But you need to bring attention to the screen. Okay, so you want to keep this one? Let's see.
This one.
Yeah. That's the one. Okay, so that's what school looks like over there. So Lorna and Jimmy were off, and Blake were off on another assignment, and they left me with our camera crew. We had two machines with us, and we wanted to leave only one there. Mrs. Bromwell and the teachers had a hard time letting us take the second machine away. Like, they were physically hanging on. There were about 6 teachers, plus Sally and I in our first teaching session. The ladies were fluent in English, so Sally didn't need to translate for me. We had fabric of various types, scissors, needles, threads, and lots of other bits with us, which we left with the school. We also left about 100 finished sanitary pads as well, with the teachers to hand out to the students. The school only went to about grade 8, so there are only about 50 girls who would benefit right now. The classes were practicing their final exams, and while we were waiting for lunch to be brought to us, the kids came and visited with me, and they kept touching my arm. my skin felt weird. I says, it's just like your skin, except it's old skin. And they asked me questions. What's the temperature in Canada? And we had just heard from probably Karami that it was -2 or something like that. I says, it's like when you step into a refrigerator. Oh, well, probably not a good place for them. And then you could see them reaching for my hair. And so finally, I went like this, and I let them all touch my hair. It was kind of a scary thing, but, I mean, I had such weird hair to them. So I talked to them about a few other things, about what kind of crops we had in Canada. I mean, we're so diverse. We have all kinds of crops here. So they live in the fruit belt, in the grain belt of Kenya. So they understand farming a lot. And as I was talking, they were constantly still touching my arms. It was kind of, like, this is my personal space, guys, get out of it. So anyway, then we had lunch with the folks there. And while we were there, Dr. Bromwell told us that the Kenyan government is looking for a designer and a manufacturer of sanitary pads for Kenyan girls across the country. And Dr. Bromwell goes, we can do that. So he is preparing, he's really entrepreneurial. He's just an amazing man. He is going to prepare a design and send it to the Kenyan government. And you know what design they're using? Not mine, ours. I found it on YouTube. It's not mine, okay? But it came from us to Kenyan government. Isn't that cool? We can change the face of Kenya just with what we did. Yeah, that was exciting to me. Okay, a few days later we went, I think it was north, but I'm directionally challenged. We went to Rafiki School. Okay, you're with me there. Okay. We went to Rafiki School, and our PLN group had the kids outside doing a concert with them. It was really hard to get them to move, but anyway, it was just about to rain, and Sally and I went into the staff room. We talked to the teachers there, and I had this time I prepared a few kits, I guess, where there was all the bits and pieces were together, and we started first of all with sewing by hand. So everyone was sewing by hand, and then we got a sewing machine out, and a few of them would start learning to sew with a sewing machine. The thought is that they won't always have a sewing machine. So you know what? You can do this without a sewing machine. So we are trying to encourage them that way. This school, one of the teachers got excited again about making these things. So I suspect that she will be the spearhead behind doing this. At this school, it was really cool because at this school they let me hand out the pads. And that was exciting to me because these girls, I gave it to them and talked with them, and one of the girls said, one pad isn't enough. And I agreed with her, and that was the idea. Make some more. You can do it. We have the technology, we have the sewing machines, make some more. You can sell them. That was a big thing for us, that we wanted to teach the kids, the girls, that they can make them and sell them so that they have more money, so that they can buy more material. It's self-sustaining for them. Okay, then 2 days later, we got the news that one of the laborers that supplied the milk had put cockroach poison into the milk because he was angry with his boss. And the kids drank this milk. 27 of them got really, really sick. 3 of them had to go to hospital. And I think we sent that prayer request, did we not? So that was the school here. Those are these kids. How did they come out eventually? We don't know, do we, Blake? Nobody said anything to us after that. So then after that, Sally, this lady here, I showed her some of the stuff that the kids like to see pictures. So I had my iPad with me and I flipped through my pictures, and Sally saw one of the quilts that I made and a few other quilts that I had on my iPad. She says, I want to do that. So she came over one day and we quilted. And it wasn't quite the same as what I do here, but I didn't have an iron, and I didn't have the rotary cutters and the mats and all those other nice things that make things so nice and neat for me. So I taught her how to do a log cabin quilt. Really simple, basic, and you can do a lot of things with it. So she's busy. That's the quilt that she made. It's a table runner. And she made one for herself and one for Rose, our housekeeper. The next day we went to Michele School. And the head teacher, Margaret, was an interesting lady. They had a flood several years ago. We don't use bathrooms. We use outhouses. And they're holes in the ground with walls around them. And like Blake said to you last week, most of the time they have roofs, but they don't always. So Margaret had an incident. They had a flood a couple of years ago, and the girls' bathroom sank by 5 feet. It's a poor school. So she went on national television. This is a lady from out in the country. She went on national television and asked for funds. And she was given funding to create a new bathroom for the girls, and there were a few other people who had also donated. So now girls had this really spiffy bathroom. I didn't see it, but she was really impressed with it. And she said, you know what? The boys have nothing compared to that. So that's the way that was. Anyway, so this is a really gung-ho head teacher. So we had the teachers, couple of teachers and students, and they learned how to make sanitary pads as well. And by hand first, again, and then we started them working on machines. And one of the teachers, this lady right here, she had her own sewing machine. So she was ready, willing. You can see that she's got a pad there. So I think that she is going to be in charge of making the pads with the students and teaching them there. And so each teacher and student came away making 2 towels each. And then I got a chance to I gave each of the teachers 5 pads. I figured that was what you need for what you need, and they were all younger, so they're not old like me. And then I gave each of the students a pad as well. And I said to them, they were really excited. You'd be surprised how thrilled they were to get this. I said to them, you guys make your own pads, get your education, and one of you could become the president of Kenya. And they went, yeah! Because it's true. They are now more able to go to school, able to go to school longer, and one of them could become the president someday. Another, look what we started. Okay, so Saturday night we had a concert, and Blake gave me earplugs, and it was very necessary. And then Kennedy, who is, you've seen a picture of him, he's about this tall. He's a lawyer, and he's working with music with these people. So he's singing up on stage, and suddenly he comes to me and he says, Mom, these people, this song is about mothers, come on. And so he pulled me up onto stage and made me dance. I was the only one in, how many are there? About 700, 800 kids, people. I was the only one there who has no rhythm. And they had me up on stage doing whatever I was doing. So, yeah, so the best thing to do is just play along, right? Even if you don't have any rhythm. And so after that, after the concert, I went to the kid. I stood up in front and talked to the kids about what I was doing in Kenya with the pads, and explained to them that that they could make these pads. We hadn't gone to this school. This school was not one that we gave a sewing machine to. We gave 3 sewing machines to the students, to 3 different schools. This was another one that the guys just did a concert at. So I had 60 pads left, and I threw them out. Boy, oh boy, that was fun. But I said to them, girls, if you want to make these pads, talk to Ram or Daisy or Jeff, and they will coordinate for you somebody who can come and teach you how to sew. This school was not one of the poor ones, so they could probably afford a sewing machine, I think. Anyway, they need the knowledge, so I told them that they should talk to Sally and Sarah, and those were the 2 ladies that came with me. So the day we left for Nairobi, we brought Sally and Sarah to our mission house, and we had a conversation with them. And they signed contracts. We gave them each a sewing machine, and you saw Sally using it to make the quilts. This one had embroidery stitches on it, so she could earn a living. And so we got Sally and Sarah to sign contracts that they would supply Pure Love Now with 100 pads every month for a whole year. So they're earning their machines. They are supplying more schools and more students with pads and connecting again with the community and creating a better life for themselves too. Sally, the bigger gal there, her husband passed away 3 or 4 years ago, so she has a son that she's trying to raise. And I asked her what she did, but it didn't make sense to me, so. The cool thing is that these pads are going to continue going out to more and more people, and hopefully the guys that are on the ground there, that are living in this house here, will be able to connect Sally and Sarah to other schools and will teach them so they can go out to more schools and teach more girls how to sew. So thanks again for giving us the time to go to Kenya and the resources to teach and to preach. Thank you for your prayers and resources that made my mission possible. I truly believe we together have changed the face of Kenya, and I'm excited to see what God will do with our efforts and our offerings. Thank you. Oh yes, this is for the younger ones. To remind me, as a Sunday school, we collected money for mosquito nets because there's a lot of kids who get malaria, and when they're young, they die. But something happened between when we started collecting money and now. The Kenyan government has brought mosquito nets in for all kids. They just get mosquito nets. So the money was redundant to me to be used for mosquito nets. And we were at one school, and the boys were out playing soccer. Their soccer ball was a bunch of plastic bags wrapped in chicken wire. Now they're barefoot. Can you imagine your foot contacting with a ball like that? So I took the money, I took the liberty, took the money, and I bought soccer balls for one of the schools. So, all right, thank you.
So I would imagine you remember well me speaking on the whole idea of toxic charity. And that was forefront in our minds as we were over there. We wanted to help and not hurt the people that we were serving over there on your behalf. And it struck me again how, your foundation on water is, again, not a toxic charity. These folks have to go over and do the work. You come alongside them, you help them to get going, but then it's theirs. You're dropping the keys in their hand and saying, a blessing from God has been bestowed upon you. What you do from this day forward with it is between you and God, and He's going to keep account. So we were blessed to see just how excited the kids were, especially as they were getting pads and things. For me, I don't know. Doesn't excite me at all. I'm sorry. But when I showed my friend Joelle, who also was one of the contributors to this, it brought tears to her eyes, and she said, "Look at them. Look at the smiles on their faces." It just blew her away how a simple thing like that can brighten up someone's life. And as Lynda said, we're very grateful to you all. You sent us and sent her into some interesting situations that she'll never forget. But I'm certain that the Lord is also blessed by what you've done. Chad, are you leading us in a closing? Oh, sorry, I'm supposed to have a prayer and